So you're going to have to be a heck of a lot more nimble because tech is moving so fast. You mentioned more partnerships. You can't build it all, which means you're going to need a very robust partnership, alliance, team, management. What does that look like? Is that something that you guys are building out, moving into? Because knowing that the future is going to hold more than likely a lot more partnerships than less.
Right.
What are you guys doing?
Well, it's interesting. On the strategic alliances side, you always see these big functions, these BD teams.
Yes.
They're going out there and they're building marketplaces. I mean, we have one. We have over 400 partners in our marketplace today that are integrated. We've got services partners that are sitting out there in the ecosystem, some of whom, have been with us over the course of the last couple days. That's great. But if you're going to make a change at your core, the people that should be owning partnership in this new world are actually product and engineering. Yeah. So it will be interesting as you have a conversation with Sharon. Most of our net new partnerships have been driven and created directly out of product management and supported by our operations teams in, coming to commercial reality. These partners, you're going to know they exist in our UI, but in many cases, they're learning with us. They are also at in the first couple steps of their journey. Yeah. So they're looking for experimentation. They're looking for people to give them feedback. They're leaning into that moment. There's a lot of flexibility on how they're thinking about working with folks. We actually do not intend to build some big strategic alliances team. Myself and Sharon and Mihal and others on our product and engineering team have been focusing a lot on looking at the market, understanding who the best players are, starting to have conversations and figuring out how they can fit into our product strategy, and then are at the center of early experimentation, testing, understanding, and then pricing and packaging. How we think about incorporating those products has a direct impact on what we need to charge our customers. And that strategy has started in product, moved into product marketing, been a real operational exercise, and then translates to enablement of our field and hopefully, understanding of our customers.
Well, you would think that you can actually cut down the partnership prospect and funnel time if the CEO, the CDO, the CPO actually reaches out to their.
Oh yeah, you get to the real answers. But also, generally speaking, engineering and product people have very real conversations with each other about what's possible and what's not.
Right.
Because there's no selling. Because none of us know how to sell. I guess we know how to sell. We want the same thing. Yeah. We want people to use our products. So there's no fluff there. You either provide an experience or you don't. And if the objective is adoption, your greatest critic is your user. If in more like alliances and BD-led conversations, there's a lot of hypothetical, in my opinion. Yeah. If we were to do this, if we were to position this, if we were to sell together, this is what we theoretically think the outcome could be. Though that is true even in product partnerships, you start with the brass tacks of how it's built and how someone is going to respond to it. And you get to that experimentation and testing phase a little bit faster. So I've been impressed with us. We've onboarded, I want to say 6 embedded partners in 3 months or something like that, they're going to be a huge piece of our Winston experience, all from within our ops product marketing team. Yeah.
So how much does your marketplace actually help you identify any candidates for M&A?
Oh, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say our marketplace drives that. I'd say our product strategy does. I think if you look at the journey of a user, a hirer, or the journey of a candidate, and we kind of go, well, here are the places that we're really doing a good job. Yeah. We can own that. We have a ton of experience. We have a ton of data. We have a ton of customers giving us feedback on X, Y, or Z.
Yes.
Here are the places where, there's a complexity there that is a significant resource investment, or maybe there's a hole that's only relevant to a piece of our ICP, or maybe a customer profile that's on the periphery of that ICP. Yeah. But we want to keep them in our ecosystem. We care about that customer. We want to continue to make them happy. Who does that well? And then from there, we usually go and look at the marketplace to see if there's anyone present. But we also seek external information. We'll call analysts, bankers, otherwise, who's out there, who's doing well, who's seen some good product market fit in this type of segment with this type of user. And we'll reach out and ask. And actually, I want to say at least 50% of the partners we've onboarded have been that. It's been outbound to them, not them coming into us. And there's been a real interest in them joining our cause.
It's a great vanity play too for them.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So let's look up or toward down funnel to HCM and what you think the future is going to look like, because that's really an iceberg. It's slow moving.
Yeah.
It's not going to change much. And if it does, it's going to have to happen with partners like you. So what's the strategy look like looking down funnel into those Goliath systems?
Yeah. Well, I'd say the good news is that up until maybe about 1 or 2 years ago, maybe even only 1 year ago, most of those big platforms had no interest at all in integrating to people like me. They have competitive products, most of them, even if they're not considered very good.
Sure.
They have a competitive product that is threatening to their revenue teams. And they've closed off that ecosystem to any sort of relationship with a vendor that would theoretically be competitive. That has changed dramatically. They are recognizing that though they have a lot of money and time and people, processes make them slower. And one way that they can experiment with the types of technologies that are going to work for them and their customer base is to extend partnership, in some cases with some good boundaries, but to extend partnership to folks like smart recruiters and test. See if it sticks. See if there's a way for that product to integrate really seamlessly into their core tech stack. And actually, a really big HRIS player is someone that we're chatting with right now, who has historically been extremely competitive to us. They are actually they want to do some build partnerships with us. So essentially, what types of behaviors and actions that you have in smart recruiters do you want to actually bring into our system? You talk about the flow of work. Well, we want to be at the center of the flow of work for some of our users. And there are things that are happening in smart recruiters we would love for them to do here. I would have never thought this in a million years, but I think what that will do is they'll do that with a lot of people. They'll figure out the ones that drive the highest impact and high value. And then in order to accelerate their own innovation, they're going to buy them. That's definitely, I think, in our future, consolidation is a thing. Strategic players buying, up and comers. It's an easy way to grab market share and to grab some good tech. And generally speaking, based on where the market is, prices are going to be lower than they were 4 years ago, for sure. So, I mean, it's a good time.
We've seen that. That's a cycle, right? Oracle bought, SAP bought, ADP. I mean,
Workday bought.
Yes. It all happened. Yeah. So let's take a look at being able to take AI, and we see many players who start with high volume, and they're trying to work their way up, right?
Yep.
Into more of the professional ranks.
Sure.
You guys are doing it the other way around.
We are.
What's the advantage and disadvantage of doing that for smart recruiters?
So, my answer is like very product focused. So like the advantage.
Imagine that.
The professional side is way harder.
Yeah.
The requirements around interviewing, offer management, approval change, the level of integration that you need to have to some of these downstream systems is exceptional. Our big high-tech customers have upwards, I think it's on average 28 to 30 integrations to our platform. Our high-volume customers have 2 or 3. So the stickiness is there in those big guys. Yeah. But the expectations are really high because they're usually first adopters on some of these new technologies, especially in the AI realm. So our advantage is that anybody coming from the other direction has a very big mountain to climb. That doesn't happen overnight. There's actually a lot of code that needs to be coded. And I feel good that I got some good runway on that. I'd say the disadvantage is that generally speaking, folks that are hiring more high scarcity, high touch, let's call it like the big software tech companies.
Yeah.
Their appetite for spend is a lot higher than, maybe more decentralized hiring, or it's like retail, hospitality, where there's a lot of turnover. There's also like market movement. The labor market makes a big difference in how much they hire, how much they can spend, their levels of predictability. And so in focusing ourselves in high volume, we have to be very attentive to the fact that churn can happen on the other side. If those bigger brands don't believe that we still care, which we do, but if they don't believe it, then they get pulled in another direction, and that can come at some revenue risk. So we have to do it very fast, and we have to offer our larger customers, the ones that are maybe more complex in their implementation, alternatives that are going to get them to the same solution. So this is where embedded partners actually make a big difference. Layering on an embedded partner that's very tailored to that high touch, high scarcity hiring model, because we don't want to build it, but doing it in such a way that it's very seamless and still part of Smart Recruiters appeases an ask there. Well, we take all of our resources and push them into sort of the ICP that we think is going to generate the most momentum and most impact in the next year or two. Yeah.